Florida will be heavily represented at the address, and we're not talking about our congressional leaders. 3 fathers whose children were killed in the Parkland school shooting and a student who survived it will all be there. They were invited by leaders from several states. The reason is simple. They represent the toll that mass shootings take on America as Congress prepares to take up gun control legislation. The first father, Fred Guttenberg, lost his 14-year-old daughter Jamie during the Valentine's Day shooting. He was invited by Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Guttenberg is a strong supporter of safety and stronger gun control measures, including banning high-capacity magazines and requiring universal background checks. And then there is Manuel Oliver, who also supports gun reform. He lost his son, Joaquin, in that shooting. Oliver was invited by Democratic Representative Ted Deutsch, whose district includes Stoneman Douglas High School. He supports legislation that extends background checks for gun purchases. Republican Senator Rick Scott asked Andrew Pollock to be his guest. Pollock, whose daughter Meadow was killed, has called for stronger security in schools, arming teachers, and more accountability from local officials. And the other Floridian is Parkland school shooting survivor Cameron Caskey. He will be the guest of Democratic California Representative Eric Swalwell. Caskey was the co-founder of the March for Our Lives movement. He has since left that group and turned his attention toward having meaningful discussions about tackling gun violence. And this is why there's so much attention on gun violence ahead of the State of the Union. Tomorrow, the House will hold its first committee hearing on gun violence prevention in nearly 8 years. One of the witnesses who will testify in front of that committee is a survivor of the Parkland shooting, Aliyah Eastman.